Hello and welcome to Earn More Money Working from Home Than Your Husband. And in actual fact, this doesn't even matter if you don't have a husband at home. It's really just about setting up a life that you love working from home, because that's what I've managed to do. And I'm really happy to share with you the tips and tricks that I used to select something that would work for me, because I really just wanted to be at home. My name is Pascale Hennessy. I'm going to show you what we're going to cover today. So first up, a little bit about me and my story and how I got here. We're going to cover today's financial reality and how to avoid the money traps and what those exactly are. The number one reason most people are time poor. My top 10 secrets to selecting a home-based business. 3 skills you need to become an attractive person. Start with why and turn your story into profits. So we're going to be covering, what it is that actually makes people wealthy from whatever it is that they love, your free ticket, and questions and answers. If you've got any questions, write them down during the webinar and I will answer them for you at the end. So a little bit about me first. My name is Pascale, as I said. This is me and my beautiful husband, Paul, on the right there, and my lovely little dog, Legend. We rescued him from the pound, so he's our little blessing. He's actually much bigger than that now. That's our beach where we live. Really, really grateful to have views like that every day. So who am I and why am I here? Well, I'm working as a life coach, a personal consultant, and I do this to help people create a life that they love, because this is what happened to me. I managed to go from a 9 to 5 job. I was working in a very stressful environment for the government. I'd worked in many different careers. I was an ex-chef, I was a personal trainer, I was an educator in Japan, and I was working in London for the government. And I found that this life that I'd created for myself, I thought was really prestigious. I thought it was something that I wanted, because I'd studied so hard at university and so on to get the credentials to do that work. And what I realized when I got there was that I was in this little box every day, and I felt like this monkey flipping paper burgers, just files and files and computer clicks and computer clicks. And it wasn't all that I thought it was going to be, On the outside world, people thought it was very prestigious that I, achieved so much and I'd done so much traveling and sorts of things, which was wonderful, and I really did enjoy that. But I knew that I wasn't really thriving there. I wasn't contributing my gifts. I wasn't, I just didn't feel like it was me. I was imprinting me and my life out on the world, and that I was contributing to the advancement of civilization, really. It sounds like a big deal, and it is, but that's really what I felt like my work should do. We spend so much time at work. So I knew I had to break away from that. Um, I, oops, I looked into advancing and starting my own business, which I did. And a few years into business, I was really looking at bankruptcy, and I really didn't feel good enough. Not just in my business life, but in my love life, in my health, in so many things. And I kind of just globalized into my life, this feeling of not being good enough. And along the journey into becoming a personal consultant and coach, what I learned was that I'm not the only one who feels this way, who feels like they're not good enough. And something else that I learned as well was that my finances and my lack of finances and my lack of knowledge about what to do in being, a woman in the modern age and being financially independent, was that my relationships also suffered because of this feeling of not being good enough, and it encroached on my finances. So I noticed there was a lot of a connection between the two. Not only that, but my health failed as well. I was 28 years old. I was in hospital with pneumonia after having, several years of bronchitis and flu and chest infections, and you name it, I had it. And I was kind of like, this can't be it. This can't be life, really. Not really making headway in my improvements of health, and not in business either. So I was feeling like a bit of a failure. Expanding my self-concept. I've put this in here because really this is the ticket. This is the thing that helped me transform my life. Self-concept really is the notion of self-esteem, of confidence, of self-talk, self-love, everything to do with you as a human being, you know, your spiritual side, your emotions, your mental state, how you treat yourself, you know, your body, how you see yourself in the world. Um, Improving my self concept was a really long journey, and I could talk for a long time on that and the importance of it. But really, I'll get into it a little later. But really, what it boils down to is that me expanding my self concept and improving in all those areas was the cornerstone to the success in my life. It changed the relationship I had with myself, with other people. I expanded my networks of friends. I was able to transform my finances and just my view of the world and my place in it. It's a magical journey too, and I love to help people understand where they are at with their self concept and really the blueprints that determine where they're going, which is why I got into coaching in the first place. Finding my truth, I discovered who I was. I knew that I was supposed to contribute to other people's lives. I knew that I was meant to be someone of purpose, really someone that would influence others in a positive way, and developing my skills in the mentoring coaching realm really helped me find my niche. And now I mean, my work is not work, and I get to work from home, and it's magical. Meeting my match, so my beloved there. That is a whole entire webinar on itself. I do a seminar called Make Love Every Day, and it's based on the journey I took. But basically, in a nutshell, after years and years of terrible, terrible patterns in my love life, and I'm sure we've all had them, I managed to create an experience that led me to this man, and we met within, we talked and talked and talked for 14 hours non-stop, and within a few days we were engaged, and it was just because it was perfect timing. He was the perfect match for me, and we both knew it. We knew it instantly, and it's a magical experience to have a fantasy story like that, and the details of it are really exciting, and I love to share that. But I really encourage you to investigate this concept of expanding your own self concept and finding your truth, because that's where love really matters, and that's where it really blossoms. Yeah, great story. I love that story. Freedom in all its forms and life in the fast lane. So, freedom for me is emotional freedom, it's freedom within my body, it's financial independence, it's the freedom to travel, it's the freedom to do, be, have anything I want, whenever I want, with whomever I want, and for however long I want. Because life should be really lived to the full, and we should have the freedom to do that, to design it ourselves, you know. And I'm loving it. You know, I've just come back from 3 months traveling Central and South America. I live in New Zealand. It's a paradise, but I love to get out and explore the world as well. And you know, we have the luxury to do that now. It's wonderful. So I'm hoping to teach you all some of these little gems that have helped me along the way, and hear your feedback on what stories you've had in the past and what you've managed to create along the way. I love stories. I love to collect them and share them and just inspire people with them. So if you've got something to share with me, please do. Okay, we're going to kick it off. So today's financial reality. Most people struggle financially. I'm going to give you some statistics, which, yes, they're from New Zealand because this is where I'm from, but it's really, in the Western world, this is pretty much how it is. So whether you're in Australia, America, Canada, wherever you are, UK, you know, things are going to be fairly similar for you. So here in New Zealand, you know, the average income is around 40,000, which is not that much, given the expense of living here. It's a bit of a paradise. Being in an island as well, it's far away from everywhere, so the cost of living is quite high. It's quite luxurious in terms of how much space and beauty we have around us and the infrastructure here. Nonetheless, we do have a lot of people struggling financially. People will spend $1.60 for every dollar they earn, which means we're basically um, a society that thrives on debt, which is pretty scary. Um, I came out of university with a student loan, and mine wasn't even that bad. I mean, mine was about $13,000. I know people who've gone to university with, um, student loans of over $100,000, and they're young. They're in their early 20s, and here they are with debt that is unheard of for someone that young, and they're not able to pay it. They're just not able to pay it back. It's a real scary reality. So people are living payday to payday, and something else that's quite scary is that although a lot of people nowadays in our age, Generation X, Y, and the millennials are thinking about, earning money, saving money, retiring, creating a life they want. Um, the median weekly investment income, so savings at the end of the week, is only $13, which really is, I mean, gosh, you can barely go to the movies for one person with that. It's just not really going to set you up for a retirement that's comfortable, is it? So what do? Get a further education? Now, I love education. I love it. But there is a difference between formal education and self-education. And if any of you know Jim Rohn, beautiful mentor of mine, he talks a lot about how formal education will earn you a living, which is fine, but self-education will earn you a fortune, and that's super fine, and I agree. My history of education, I've done a few different things. I have a degree, I've travelled a lot and done courses all over the world. And much as they were fun and good, and I have the certificate to prove it that I did these things, and I'm sure I learned some skills. Getting out into the marketplace was another story altogether. Certainly for me, I studied political science and languages. I was very good at languages, and I thought I was going to be this amazing, this political scientist, this government worker, someone who's going to change the beast from the inside out. And what I learnt was that no, that can't be done. That realm is a beast with 7 heads, and it just is not a place for someone like me. I'm an intuitive. I'm I'm freedom girl. I can't thrive in a place like that. And so my degree eventually was wasted, in that I couldn't really expand in it, and um, it didn't survive more than 3 years, in terms of my job prospects either. So what we've learned, looking at this graph here, is that annual income by degree, so 5 years after study, people are finding that they're only earning these amounts of money per year. In the health industry, I mean, to study medicine is 7 years of study, and a student loan much greater than this. And only 5 years after finishing their studies, this is the amount of money that they expect to earn. So what this shows really is that the degrees are not returning their value in the marketplace. It means that there's not actually enough jobs in the field, or not enough money in those jobs to support the value of the educations that people have. So this doesn't negate the value of a degree, of a university education, of a PhD, a master's, an honours degree, anything like that. They are really, really valuable. But the point is that the marketplace isn't actually supporting the value of that, because the money isn't there. And it makes me remember that universities are always in business, so they're always promoting to go back to school and expand your knowledge base and things. But it's not, it's a business too. So we've got to remember that. Is it necessarily the best way? For me, I learned that if I'm going to continue to be a lifelong learner, it had to be in self-education, personal development, and skills that really contribute to the work that I'm doing and the value I'm offering people. So really specific to me and my role, as well as me as a human being, because I figure If we are better human beings, then we're going to be better servers of other people's needs, and that's just going to bring good things, good business, good relationships, and eventually more money as well. Money traps. Okay, so money traps really are the things that take your money. They're things that you might not expect, and some of them, they mean well, but they don't necessarily save you in the long run. So some examples are expensive hobbies. I suppose my most expensive hobby is traveling. I love it so much. And, you just have to pay it. But plane tickets and hotels and all sorts of things, it does all add up. So, the experience is worth it, I believe. But it's definitely a money trap for me because I can spend it willy-nilly and just, book that next trip. Purchasing a house that's more a liability than an asset. So a do-up. I know a lot of people that believe in property, and I certainly do as well, as a way of creating a good income. But you've got to be mindful of whether the house that you're purchasing is a liability or an asset. And if you don't know the difference between those two, you've really got to read up. I recommend Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It is a very simple way to understand the difference between the two. That was really my financial wake-up call because I was never very good at maths and I was never very good at budgeting and any of that sort of thing. But I did learn a lot from that book and I highly recommend it. So be careful, is your house going to give you a return on the investment? Keeping up appearances, this is a big one, especially for us women. We have a lot of pressure on ourselves to present beautifully in the world and keep up with the Joneses. And just be mindful. I think it's all too easy to buy the next thing and the next thing and the next thing just to have. But is it really necessary? So just be mindful of where your money is going. Observe and ask yourself in the moment, do I need this really? And do I need it right now? Because also what you're spending that money on, say it's a new handbag or something, and is it going to be worth the same 10 years from then, or with inflation, is it going to be worth what the money itself could be worth if it were an investment? Yeah. Cars, again, drive them off the lot, they lose a lot of money, so it's definitely a money trap. Over here in New Zealand, people are really good at buying secondhand cars because they're saving a lot of money that way. So I really recommend looking into a secondhand car. You can still get ones that are really, really good, in very good condition, and you can't tell that they're not new, but they're going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars. Relying upon the government to save you. So in New Zealand we have KiwiSaver. In America you have the 401k, superannuation pension schemes, that sort of thing. The baby boomers of today are going to all retire soon, and I don't think these structures are going to look the same when we come to retire in 30 or 40 years or however old you are and when you want to retire. So yeah, we really have to start looking out for ourselves now, I think, just with the way the world is going and the way the economy is structured. I'll save when I ... Okay, so this is probably the biggest money trap, I think. I'll save when I earn enough, or I'll save when I've got children, or I'll save when I get married, or I'll start saving when I get a new job, or I'll start saving when I've paid off all my bills. Really, guys, girls, everybody, start saving now. Start saving now. Even if it is, $1 from your paycheck, 1%, 2%, 5% of your paycheck each week or month or however often you get paid. This was such a good lesson for me. Think of it as your golden goose. Save 10% of your income or a third of your income, whatever it is that you're able to save every single time you get paid, and don't touch it. Don't kill the golden goose. You can always spend the eggs, i.e. the interest that you earn on things, but the golden goose really is to be used as an investment. It's to be used as an asset. So you can only spend it if you're purchasing an asset that's going to actually return you more money than you've put in. So don't fall into the trap of I'll save when. Having a money philosophy or blueprint that limits your financial growth. I had a money blueprint that said I always earn just enough. And I kid you not, for 10 years, I'd earn my money, I'd spend it all, and then literally a few days before I was to be paid again, I had $0. And it didn't matter which country I was in, because I've lived and worked in many countries around the world, and honestly, didn't matter the currency, it didn't matter the job. I would always earn just enough to get by that month, and that just was my pattern. That was my blueprint until I rejigged it, and I learned that I could actually set a new thermostat on where my benchmark was for what I would earn. So if this is something that you don't even know about, you're not even aware of, I'm very, very happy to talk with you and just highlight for you what it is. That's something that I just do over the phone, and there's no charge for that. I don't, it's just a conversation I would have with you just to show you where your blueprint is, because I tell you, it is honestly like a light bulb going off in your mind that you can change this. It's brilliant. All right, the number one reason most people are time poor. Wow. Well, think about it this way. When your wealth is married to how much time per day you spend at a job, you will forever be time poor. Forever. So, this is it. Linear income. Linear income is the income when you receive when you trade your time for your money. So, this is most people, because most people are working in jobs. And the job, every hour of each day, of each week, of each year, for the next 40 years or so, your money is tied to you being at that job. And aside from a couple of sick days or your annual leave days, if you stop that job, you don't continue to get paid. So you got to ask yourself, what else can I do to create more time in my life? For me, this was a major question, because I knew I didn't fit the mold. I didn't want to be in a box. I didn't want to be in an office every day. I didn't want to work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I just couldn't. I couldn't. It was not me. It didn't suit me at all. And I wanted time, because I wanted to be able to do the things that I wanted to do. I wanted to travel. I wanted to, especially when I got married, I was like, wow, there's so much we can do together now. And having a partner by my side was like, it just took life to a whole new level, and wanting to create time where I could be with him and help him with his work projects and all sorts of things like that, and be with family. And the other thing, being a woman, I really am passionate about supporting other people who want to work from home, because when we have children, want to be a stay-at-home mother, and I want to homeschool my children. And in order to do that, I have to be free, right? I can't be tied to a job. I can't be in a linear income situation, because it's just not going to support the lifestyle that I want to create. So next comes residual income. The beauty of residual income is that you receive this whether you're on the clock or not. So this is income that will keep coming to you for work that you've done previously, whether you're there or not. So the sorts of people who will earn residual income are, business types, or say someone who's written a book, or created a musical album, or something where they're receiving royalties. That's the sort of thing. Residual income comes in whether you're at work or not. Very, very cool. So let's have a look. How do we get into business? Because this is really one of the great ways to create residual income. In actual fact, I'm going to show you, I'm sure you've all seen this before. You probably worked in this structure if you're in a job. Boss at the top, managers or middle management, team leaders and such, and workers down the bottom. I've been a worker. I haven't been a manager in a job situation, and certainly not the boss. And I tell you what, when I was working those 9 to 5s in London for the government, I tell you, I was not earning anywhere close to what the management was earning, and I certainly wasn't earning what the boss was earning. And I was working my butt off to the point where I ended up in hospital. So, yeah, I can really appreciate people who work in that structure. Look there and see where you've been before. So we're going to look now at what ways you can create a residual income. So the number of ways. Share trading. I don't know anything much about share trading. I do know people who do it. I do know it's a bit risky, and you certainly need help or a good education in it to understand how to go forward with it and actually make a profit. Property, again, brilliant, making sure that you've got an asset rather than a liability, but it does require a high deposit and the cash flow is low. I've heard that it's quite good if you can get more than 12 properties on the go and running smoothly, because then you're looking like you're actually going to be in a good position. But 12 properties is quite hard to get. It's going to take you some time and a lot of capital to start up. Business. Honestly, this is the best option as it provides leveraged income. We're going to talk a little bit about that later. But businesses, ever since the global financial crisis, it's really seen a surge in new business, new entrepreneurs, people that are creating new things to help people, new services, new products, but also a way to create income on their terms. The drawbacks of a traditional business. Now, by traditional business, I mean, it's a shop or a physical location that you've had to invest in, or a franchise, say, a McDonald's or a Subway or something, where you've had to purchase it all up front, stock, licenses, all that sort of thing, and you have a physical location. So the high overheads, rentals and things like that, large startup capital, staff, training, wages, that sort of thing, and the headaches that come with that. Marketing, branding, websites, all your brochures, all your logos, all your stuff like that, and the risks. So is it recession proof? Is it tied to a physical location? All of these things. I mean, if you imagine purchasing, say, a franchise, which is a really, really good way to do business because the systems are already in place and you haven't had to design them. Say a McDonald's, I mean, you're looking at like over $1 million to get a franchise for McDonald's, and the first year of work, you're working in it for free because you've got to learn every single aspect of that business and that system. It's a system that works really, really well. It's the #1 restaurant in the world, and we all know that McDonald's doesn't sell high-class food, but I tell you what, they've got a system that works. But the thing is with it, you've got so much to start up, so much money you need in the beginning, and so much time you have to invest in the beginning without any return at all, just to learn it and to be part of that club. So, massive drawbacks in my opinion, especially for those of us that don't have that sort of money sitting around. So my recommendation is to take advantage of the social media boom, of the internet. This has completely transformed the way we do business. I mean, look at these, over 1 billion active users on Facebook, over 6 billion hours of YouTube videos watched each month. That's a lot of videos, and hundreds of thousands of tweets. I asked myself, where did you hear about this webinar? Here I am teaching you some aspects, and I'm in New Zealand and you're somewhere else, and you're able to connect. It's wonderful. The other thing I like about this is we've become so shareable. Everything in our lives is shareable via these social medias of choice. We get to choose what we want to share, when, from where, to whom, and by whichever medium we choose. We're constantly promoting products and services that we love. I know that for me, if I want something, say recently I was looking for an engineer, and I just put a notice on Facebook, a little post there, and I said, does anyone know any good engineers for heating engineers? I also asked for quantity surveyors, things like this, and I got a brilliant list of people to contact. I also asked about hay fever remedies and the best ones, and I got 12 different responses of different things, natural remedies and so on. And I just thought, this is so cool. We're so fortunate that we can have the trust and just put it out there. I don't need to go searching. People tell me, they come to me because this is the way we can get the word out there. And I love as well that I can promote other people's services and products, and things that I've gone to. Say I went to a restaurant that I really enjoyed, take a photo of the food or the menu and then send it. But the thing that I've noticed is that we'll do this every day. We'll share every day, like, post, comment, engage, share, all these things. But do we get paid each time we promote other people? Isn't it interesting? We don't, do we? Does Facebook pay you every time that you like or comment on something? Or, if you went on Instagram or Pinterest or something and you liked and shared and retweeted and repinned and so on other people's posts? It'd be great if we could earn $1 for every time we did that, right? So this leads into my top 10 secrets to selecting a home-based business. This is the present moment. This is really the way forward for people who are wanting to create a life that they love with the freedom that they want to enjoy. So take note. Number 1, it must be profitable. Honestly, don't go invest in something that is not going to expand because you're not going to earn a living. And honestly, if it is not online and if it's not like if you're looking at something more traditional, unless it's got a huge system behind it like McDonald's that you know is profitable, don't go there. Honestly, online and expanding and global, this is the way forward because it is going to give you so much more traction and so much more business in the long run. We're moving in fast times with this technology. So look out for that. It's got to be low risk. None of this, it's going to bankrupt you if you don't succeed. Something that is low risk, it's not a big startup cost. There's tax advantages, things like that. Something that adds value to people's lives, including your own. So this is really important. Don't look for something that doesn't make your heart sing or isn't something that you can become passionate about. Even if it's something that you're like, I'm not too sure yet, but I'll investigate, I'll give it a try, and you can actually grow to love, then sure, give that a shot. But don't go for something that feels wrong for you. It's got to add value to others because that's how we get repeat business. If you're adding value to other people's lives, then why wouldn't it expand? Why wouldn't other people share it and like and comment and all of that stuff? Promote your business for you, word of mouth. Number 4, something that you can do from anywhere, so it's not tied to a physical location. This is why I emphasize the online thing. Take advantage of that fact. And so I was traveling 3 months with my husband. I was able to do business from my phone, which I had with me, and we went to 15 different countries, and I was able to still do business. Even though I was on holiday, I didn't want to work too much, but I was able to because it's all online. It's wonderful to be earning residual income from this work without even being at home in my office doing work, so to speak. Wonderful. Number 5, no employees and the headaches that go with that. So something that, even if it is that you can expand your team and you can have people that work with you, that partner with you, but you don't have to have them as employees, that is a bonus, because employees, that can cause a whole lot of issues, union issues and all sorts of things, but also the payments, wages and PAYE and all these things. It's contracts and so on. It's just better if you can have people partner with you but not be employees. It's much better. Number 6, pays you based on your efforts, not on your position within a structure. So look for something that is really not, even if it's like a franchise or something that you're doing solo, like look for something that is going to reward you based on how much you work, not where you're placed. Because I'm referring to your basic job structure. Obviously, the worker bee isn't going to earn as much as the boss because of the position he or she has within that structure. It's really archaic and it's not going to work for people who want to be in business. Some people need jobs, yes, and there will always be jobs, yes. But for those of you looking at a home-based business, no. Make sure that you're being paid on your efforts. Must be ahead of a trend. So a really good example of this is I drove the other day past a DVD store and I was like, DVDs and videos, wow, I don't even have a disc player on my computer anymore. Like there's no CD disc there. I don't have a DVD player. Everything's Netflix, Apple TV. And I was thinking, gosh, how do they make any money? And they're advertising these videos and these DVDs for $1 rentals. And I'm just thinking, unless you've got one of those machines, which is soon going to be totally, you know, like vintage and hard to find, how on earth are they going to make any money? So being ahead of a trend, look at where we're going with, look in the different areas of life. So health and business and technology and, relationships, this sort of thing. Like look in these different areas, because finance, that sort of thing, because this is really where the trends are going. Look at what's popular and look at where we're going, and look and see if yours is going to survive long term. Okay, next is must provide something unique and consumable. Okay, so what's something unique? Okay, unique would be something like, if we were to compare, actually let me go non-unique, that's probably easier. So non-unique, Coca-Cola, right? Coca-Cola is everywhere. So what that means is that you can buy a Coke at the service station, at the dairy, at the movies, at the supermarket, and you're pretty much competing on convenience or price. So anywhere, i.e. non-unique. So unique means something where they're going to come back to you for it. You or your shop or your online shop or something. Etsy stores and things like that are really cool because people go specifically to that person every time they want something, because they're the only ones that have what they want. Really, really cool. Consumable, because that means repeat sales. So, every time, and bearing in mind that this is something that adds value to people's lives. So if I'm going to consume something that adds value to my life, I'm going to, for example, going for a haircut, like I go for a haircut in colour, and I go to the same hairdresser every time because she knows me and she's built rapport with me, and she adds value to my life because she makes my hair beautiful, and it needs to tidy up every now and again. And to me, she's a bit more unique because of her style, and that I've got curls and she has curls, and I've had bad hairdressers before, and consumable in the sense that I have to keep going back, and that's repeat sale for her. So she can guarantee that I'll always return to her, so long as she keeps me happy, and that's I'm constantly going to be giving her repeat business, and I'm probably more likely to refer her too. Number 9, must be in a huge and expanding market. Okay, so looking again at something that is growing. So don't go for the blockbuster video. Don't go for vinyl records. Don't go for something that's shrinking. You've got to look at something that is expanding, that's going to grow. Ahead of the trends, look at what the millennials are doing, Gen Y, look at what they are doing and choosing, look at what baby boomers are buying, something that is going to cross all generations, and something that is expanding. And last but not least, it must provide you with leverage. So leverage basically means that you're getting more out of your time because you've got other people working with you. So, for example, the McDonald's employer, the boss who's got 40 different employees working for him, he's got leverage on all the time that they work. So he might be getting each of those people to work, 10, 20, 30, 40 hours, and those are hours that he doesn't have to work. So he's got time leverage from them, which gives him a leveraged income. So look for something that is going to give you leverage. Even if you're working solo, make sure you've got a way to have leverage. All right, 3 skills you need to become an attractive person in business and in life. I learned these from some of my top mentors, and I realized that they're so important because in business, people don't buy the product or the service so much as they buy you. So you are your product, you are your service, you are your business. So in order to be an attractive person, someone that actually attracts in the kind of business that you want, you've got to have a positive self-concept. Really, again, this is a conversation I'm happy to have one-on-one. I love to open people up to the idea of where they're at, what their blueprint is with their self-concept. For me, it was I'm not good enough, and that was not a good self-concept. It didn't expand anything in my life. So, yeah, this is critical. Having empathy. The reason why empathy is important is that you need to understand your customers. You need to understand who they are as people and what their perceived needs are. So you really need to have the ability to ask the right questions, to listen, truly listen genuinely with an open heart, and understand who these people are. Kind of get in their minds, get in their shoes, get in their hearts, and understand them, because that's how you will create real rapport, lasting rapport, and have return on the investment into these people. People will always buy you, and also their belief in you and the belief in what you have for them. So empathy, definitely a skill to explore. Number 3 is resilience. So resilience really is the ability to get up after falling down. And in business, and just in life in general, we fall down so much. We falter and fail so much. But if we see failure as a lesson rather than a failure, like, oh, I've got to give up now because I didn't do well. Honestly, if I'd given up after the first time I tried business and the second time I tried business and different places and different men and in my life that failed relationships, then I wouldn't have found the business I love and the man that I love. Resilience really is getting up, dusting yourself off, having faith in yourself, believing in yourself, and being able to press through. Because in business, I tell you, you get knocked all which ways. But it's lessons in growth, it really is. All right, start with why and turn your story into profits. Sue Chipperton. So this woman here, I love her story. She was at a John DeMartini breakthrough experience, and I highly recommend you attend one of those if you've ever got the opportunity. She was there and she's like, I can't turn anything into profits. My story, my why, like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he said to her, so what do you love? Like, what do you love to do? What's your story? And she goes, well, I don't love anything. I love my dog. I love walking my dog. So tell me how to turn that into a profitable business. And so through a conversation, she decided, all right, well, I'm just going to take my dog for walks like I do, and I'm going to believe that I can turn it into money. And so she took her dog for a walk, and people would often photograph her dog, and she had someone approach and ask for a picture, and she said, yeah, I'm the dog's agent, and it'll cost you $5 for a photograph of the dog. And sure enough, they're like, fair enough, we'll pay. So she had a couple of people buy from her that day, and she went out again the next day and had a couple more people, and over the week she had maybe 3 or 4, 5 people, and it grew and grew and grew. And then eventually she had somebody come along and say, I want to take a photo of your dog, because by this stage she was teaching it tricks and she had it wear costumes and all sorts of things, because she realized people really did want to photograph her dog, and she could actually make money from it, even though it was little amounts of money. But this person was a scout, and he was looking for the next mascot for Taco Bell, and she really had it with this dog. So this dog ended up becoming world famous Taco Bell dog, and every time the dog dies, which happens, obviously, dogs have short lives, she replaces it with one identical and trains it up, and and she's written books and just become this very wealthy woman with this very wealthy dog as well. And it's purely because she was like, I wanna walk my dog. I think that is the coolest story. So questions are the answers. I put this here. This is a book by Alan Pease, and it asks about, it just gives you deep insight into asking yourself the right questions to find out what it is that is your story that will turn your story into profits. The why power in doing what you love. So just like Sue, looking at what do you love and how can you do it? How can you turn that into money? Cultivating a captivating story. So it takes a bit of time, takes a bit of trying, but turn your story into something that intrigues people, that inspires people, and that gets people asking more questions, because that is how you're going to lead into business expansion, monetization. So monetize yourself. You are your own brand. As I said, you become an attractive person, cultivate those skills, choose the right business that fits for you, and shape your story, because you are your own brand. People buy you, and when you are in a positive state of mind, positive self-concept, and doing the thing that you love, you're going to have the life that you love. All right, I'm going to talk to you about your free ticket. So this little photo is where you found me. I'm going to teach you all the simple system that I use to build a residual income from home. I'm going to do it via online webinar, details upon registration. And this is a webinar that I'm so passionate about, because it's all my secrets. It's all my ticket. It's step by step the system I use. To register is very simple. You need to go to Instagram, follow Pascale the Rainmaker, tag a friend in this photo, and in the comments box type #RainmakerElite, and then I'm going to connect with you personally. So the cool thing about that is I'm going to share with you step by step all the secrets, and you'll have one-on-one time with me as well, and it's brilliant. I love it. I'm just going to show you as well my screen, so let me just skip along here. Okay, so this is where you'll find me, Pascale the Rainmaker, Pascale Hennessy. Scroll down and you'll see this photograph. Go down, just click on the comments. You want to tag a friend, so I'm going to tag myself and #RainmakerElite. Click send, and then I will go and I will send you a private message with the details. Thank you so much for being here. Please keep in touch. Looking forward to sharing the details with you in the next webinar. And follow me on Instagram. I'm looking forward to connecting with you there. That's where all the magic happens. Every now and again, I'll pop up on Periscope and such. But otherwise, yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting you. Take care. Have a great day.